Growing up, one of my favorite memories was board game night. My family had all the classics. We did our Monopoly, our Clue, our Uno, Risk, you name it, we had the game for the time. So when I started my own family, that was one of the things I anticipated the most. I couldn't wait to share that same memories that I had. So as the kids grew up, we started with the junior games and moved into those same classics. But we started finding things like in the game of life where everybody's kind of playing for themselves. It's just one, each person's playing their own game. There's not a lot of involvement, interaction with each other. So that's when I started looking out to see what other new games are out there, and boy was I surprised. There is a huge explosion of games, and there's so many things, good ones to pick from. I'm Morgan Dean, and today I would like to share you 3 of the games that I think it would be good additions to your library if you don't have them already. We'll be going over Exploding Kittens, Ticket to Ride, and The Resistance. Now to start off with Exploding Kittens, it's a 2 to 5 player game. It usually averages about 10 to 20 minutes. Now this game was really anticipated. When it got on Kickstarter, it became the highest backed item ever on Kickstarter. It's even surpassing Reading Rainbow. It raised about $1 million in 5 hours because people really wanted to play this. And something I like about it is the webcomic The Oatmeal did all the artwork for it, so there's a lot of cutesy stuff on it and some pretty fun parts. So the goal of the game is to not get the exploding kitten. It's kind of a roulette style where you're just drawing cards, trying not to get exploding kittens. But say you do pull one up, you have 2 choices. You either have a diffuse card, which lets you stay in the game, or you don't and you're out. So, but regardless if you get to stay in or not, you still get to put the kitten back in the deck. And this is where the fun begins in the game, because you can throw it on top, get your partner right next to you out, or you can wait a few people down the table and throw it in a couple cards down to get them, or just throw it on the bottom and mess with everybody and make them panic trying to figure out what's going on. So it's a really good one. It's really quick. And next we have Ticket to Ride. It's a little bit longer. It's a 2 to 5 player game still, but it lasts about 90 minutes. But considering your Monopolies and your Risks, which lasts 2 to 3 hours, that's a pretty good shortcut on time. And the other things I like about this one over those two is a Monopoly and Risk, you eliminate people, and this one is everybody plays till the very end. And also there's no runaway victory where you get halfway through the game and you know who's going to win. And this one is always down to the last minute. So as you're going through the beginning of the game, you'll be handed cards that give you routes. And the routes will give you some, say, Boston to Vancouver, or say Miami to St. Louis. And if you complete those, you get bonus points. So after you have those and everybody decides, then everybody starts drawing cards where they'll get different colors. And if they match enough of the same color, they can claim a route and help finish their routes through there. So everybody's trying to finish the routes, and maybe somebody gets in the way, but that adds a lot of the fun of it. And at the end, if you do complete your routes, you'll get even more bonus points. So it's a really good one if you want a replacement to some of your longer games. And lastly, we have The Resistance. Now this one's a little bit bigger. You need at least 5 people, and it goes up to a 10-person game. They can last, say, maybe about 20 to 30 minutes per round. And then there's usually, say, 5 rounds overall. So it could be a long game, or sometimes it's really quick. But the idea is you have 5 rounds, and you have, at the beginning, you hand out cards to let people know they're either going to be the Resistance or the Spies. Now there's only going to be a couple of Spies to the overall table, so if you have like 5 people, 2 of the people is going to be Spies. And so there'll be a little time for the Spies to figure out who's who without everybody else knowing. And then the next part happens where you go into rounds of teams, where say the person who's sitting here will pick out 2 other people to go on a round, and they'll have a chance to vote for. Each of those 3 people will get cards to either vote for a success or vote for a failure. Now the Resistance people will always vote for a success because that's how they're going to win the game. The Spies got to decide if they want to vote either one. Either they vote to a success to kind of keep themselves hidden for a later round, or they vote for it to fail and help win their game quicker, because it's best 3 out of 5. Whoever gets there first wins. And that's where a lot of the fun comes in, because as soon as the fail comes out, everybody starts blaming each other. It's a lot of figure out who did it, and that's the part. So they might figure out one, and the other one might be really good at being deceptive and still be able to vote later on to win. And we had a good time with this one. The greatest part was when we first got it was my 9-year-old couldn't stop laughing every time she got a spy card. So we usually could time her out really quick if it was her. But over time she got a good poker face, and it's made it an even better game now. Now for a lot of these games, I originally looked at BoardGameGeek.com to kind of figure out what's out there, and they are an excellent resource if you're looking for a board game. They'll tell you the players, the time limits, how hard it is to do it, the good, the bad, and there's hundreds of reviews on every game. They even have a good ranking system of what people think are the best games out there. And these are some of my favorite games, and they're not even in the top 100. And I looked at some of them, and there are some good ones in there. And I have found recently there's some more I need to add to my collection. So if you want to know anything about every game, that is the best resource. Now the other good resource I like is the YouTube channel Tabletop with Wil Wheaton, because it gathers in a few celebrities and sometimes his family, and he'll explain the game ahead of time, and then it'll go around there playing. It's usually pretty funny, and you get a really good feel for if that's a game you think would be good for your family. And that's exactly why I picked Ticket to Ride, because after watching that I'm like, yes, this would be perfect for my family. I want to get that and use them. So overall, if you need to add something new to your games library, these are 3 excellent choices, whether it's Exploding Kittens to have a good quick game to get through, or Ticket to Ride to play some of those old classic long games, or if you need a good party game, you got Resistance. So if you just choose one of those resources to help look it up and help guide you, and happy gaming.